Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Or are you scared that you're going to be laid off soon? Or maybe you're in an industry where layoffs are a common occurrence. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the power of saving money, especially for emergencies like layoffs and anything else that might come in your way. And if you watch to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you a tip that will probably save you months of pain and suffering. So let's get into it. My name is Paris Clough, and this is Financial Self-Reliance. On this channel, I love helping people manage, protect, and grow their money. Last week, I did a video on managing your money, how to create a budget. In this video, one of the things I'm going to share with you is once you have a budget set, what do you do with the extra money, hopefully, that you have to be able to put yourself on more solid ground and on much better footing? One of the great things that causes stress in our life is money. Financial concerns, financial stress, not being able to pay the bills, having more month at the end of the money, or having all kinds of stress and strain around how to spend our money. Well, if we have money in savings, if we have money saved up, if we have emergency fund money, a lot of those stressors go away. And so I'm going to share with you 3 real reasons to save and the importance and power of saving in each of these areas. But the first reason is short-term savings. Now, short-term savings is things like you're going to buy something in the near-term future. So you're going to buy something in, say, the next 30, 60, 90 days. Save up for that. Find out how much it costs and then break it down in a monthly budget perhaps so that you can put aside money every month for the purchase of that item. So for example, if you're going to go buy a TV, don't just go and buy it and put it on a credit card and now you're in debt and you're going to hope to pay the payment on the credit card because usually the credit card's at 20-25% interest. And so it's much better for you to take the time, the discipline to save for that first, break it up into a couple of months, maybe 3 or 4 months, depending on what size of TV you want to buy, and then put that money in savings, earn a little bit of interest, and have that help you to pay for that TV in 3 or 4 months. Another really good way to put money into savings for short-term things is something called sinking funds. And sinking funds are where you categorize your savings into specific areas. For example, one of the things that I'm saving for is Christmas every year. So it's not a surprise when it comes around and I have all these gifts to pay for and I have no money to do it. So I put away money every month in my Christmas fund, and that's called a sinking fund for Christmas. I also buy my health insurance and my car insurance on an annual basis. So I have a health insurance and a car insurance fund, and I put money every month into that fund so that I make sure that I have enough when that annual bill comes up, I can pay for that. Now, why do I pay for it annually? Because I get a huge discount. So call your insurance agent and see how much your health insurance is on a monthly basis and on an annual basis. And if you can get a huge discount, it's better to save up and pay that annual amount instead of the monthly amount and give yourself some significant savings. I know for my car insurance, it was like 20 or 30% savings. My health insurance, same thing. So it was definitely worth it for me to set aside a savings account where I could pay for those things. And those things are called sinking funds. Now, if you're going to buy something, save up for it first. There's power in doing that. There's power in knowing that you've put aside the money, that you had the discipline to put aside that money every single month. And then when you buy it, you own it. It's yours. You don't have to worry about the looming debt or the credit card over your head. Or whenever you get a credit card statement and you look at the balance, you think to yourself, what did I buy that makes me have this much debt and anxiety and stress? It's not worth it. You're going to pay a price, whether it's the price of discipline or you're going to pay the price of regret and anxiety and stress. I would personally rather pay the price of discipline. So make sure that you're paying the price of discipline by setting aside money now so that you can pay for things with money you already have in savings. That's short-term sinking funds. That's a powerful way to save for your future and to save up to buy things. Now, the second way is midterm savings. Midterm savings is not necessarily for anything that you're going to buy in the near future, but it's more for the just-in-case types of things. And this is where experts recommend you have anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in this savings account. Now, to me, why 3 or why 6 or why maybe 9 months or 12 months? What's the difference? Well, if you have a very stable career and you know that you're probably going to be able to find a job quickly, maybe 3 months of expenses is okay. If you're in a little bit more of a turmoil career or maybe an industry where there may or may not be a lot of people looking for new employees if you were to get laid off or get set aside or downsized or right-sized or whatever size. So that would go 6 months if you were a little bit more in a position that was not so secure. If you're in a sales-only commission or a commission-only situation, I would say at least 9 to 12 months worth of savings for your expenses. Now, the reason why you want to have that much money in savings is traditionally because that's how long it takes you to find a job after you've been laid off. So right now in 2023, we've heard a lot of things about people being laid off. And so I hope that those people have enough money in savings that they can pay for their mortgage, pay for their car payment, pay for their cell phone, pay for their expenses to live their life for long enough that they'll have enough time to find a new job. And the average person who's been laid off takes anywhere from 2 to 6 months to find a new job. The rule of thumb actually in a lot of professional and employee and people that help you find jobs and job hunters is that for every $10,000 you expect to earn, you should expect to spend 1 month searching for that job. So if you want to find a job that pays you $50,000 a year, it's going to take you about 5 months to find a job in that pay range. So it's important for you to have 3 to 6 months worth of money, especially of your fixed and your hard expenses, saved up in a savings account so that you don't have the stress and the strain. It's already stressful enough to be laid off, to be displaced, and to be told you're not, necessarily valuable to a particular company anymore. That just doesn't feel good. And then to have to go back into the grind of finding another job and going through the interview process and trying to prove your worth and sell yourself to the new employer. It's just a lot. And so why add to that by not having any money in savings? So if you have money in savings and you can get yourself through it, you can take the time, you can assess your situation, you can find a job that actually is going to fit your value structure, and you're not going to just have to take the first one that comes along because you have to pay the bills. When you have savings, you have the ability to choose. You have more of a relaxed position in your life, and you can make and assess situations with a little bit wiser point of view. And so I highly recommend that you get 3 to 6 months of money just for the confidence that it will give you, just for that poise, that wisdom, that extra, added, I don't really care what you think of me because I have money in savings kind of attitude. And so I really think that it's important for you to have 3 to 6 months worth of money in your savings account. Now, I would start with, if you're nervous about how to get that quickly, I would start with your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, the fixed costs, those costs that are critical, the shelter, food, clothing. Start with those things first, and then add, 3 to 6 months worth of your cable TV, or 3 to 6 months worth of your premium gym membership, or your premium whatever else you're doing. So those variable things, those discretionary things, those fun things that you have, those should be last on the list of things to really build that account for. Because one of the main reasons why is because if you did get laid off and you did have to cut back, you could cancel subscriptions way quicker than you can cancel your mortgage. So it's important to make sure that you have at least those fixed costs, those hard and fast, the needs that you have those covered first, and then work on building 3 to 6 months worth of the wants that you have in your life. And I promise you, it's a whole different world when you have money in savings. The stress is so much less. I mean, I'm not going to say it's eliminating stress, but it's going to reduce the amount of stress that you have quite a bit. Now, the last way to save, or the last reason to save, is for long-term savings accounts. Now, long-term savings can traditionally be called investing. And I think that the first two, saving short-term and mid-term, will prepare you for this long-term savings and really give you a good foundation to launch your investments off of. So saving is different than investing. Saving is money that you're going to put maybe in a bank account, in a savings account, something that has really easy access and is really super liquid that you can get to it in case of emergencies. So the savings or the sinking funds, you want to have that in some place where you're not going to lose the money. So a bank, FDIC insured, is great. The emergency fund money, you can have that in a bank, but in a high yield savings account preferably, because you want to have access to it, but you want it to be far enough away that you're not going to be tempted to go use it for those purposes of maybe the short-term purposes. So it's important to make sure that you have that money in a place that's far enough away, earning a decent enough interest rate that you're going to at least kind of keep pace with inflation on it anyways, and maybe a high yield savings account. And then the long-term savings, that's where you really start to invest in your future. That's where you start to learn about what's going on with your 401k. That's what you start to learn about what's going on with IRAs or Roth IRAs or the stock market or indexed investing. We're going to talk a little bit more on this channel about indexed investing. So make sure you subscribe and you like this video, and you make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to talk more about investing and how to invest with different strategies like dividend investing, indexed investing, ETFs, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, all that kind of stuff. And that's more that long-term process of saving. So you want to save for things like your children's education. You want to save for things like maybe you're saving to buy a house someday in the next 5 to 10 years. So long-term savings is anywhere from 10 years plus. Short-term savings is the next, 6 months or so. Mid-term savings is anywhere from 6 months to maybe 3 to 5 years. Long-term savings is anything from 5 to 10 plus years out. So you want to make sure that you're saving long-term and you're using that money appropriately so that you're getting to a point where someday you can actually retire. Now, the rule of thumb is that you want to save about 10% of your income, but that's actually more into the long-term savings account, because that's going to get you to retirement. That's going to give you a chance to get to retirement at least on time, let alone retiring early. But then you probably need another 10% of your income to save for those things that you're going to buy, and save for that emergencies. And so once you build your emergency fund, once it's full, you can use that money on a monthly basis to fund your sinking funds or to continue to grow your retirement or your long-term savings account so that you can actually retire a little bit earlier. So it's important to really do your budget properly and make sure that you are on track with a positive cash flow, that you have more money coming in than what's going out. Once you have that under control, now you can determine how many hundreds of dollars or how much money you can put aside towards savings in your short-term sinking funds, towards your emergency fund for your 3 to 6 months worth of expenses, and then towards your retirement account and your ability to retire sometime in the near future. So I'm going to share with you a tip that I promised that I would share with you at the end of the video. And this tip is to dig your well before you're thirsty. What does that mean? So if the average person takes 3 to 6 months to find a job after they've been laid off, it's probably because they started the process after they got laid off. So what if you had a resume that was updated every quarter or every 6 months, regardless of whether or not you had a good job? So there's an old saying that says the best time to fix your roof is when it's sunny outside, not when it's raining. Most people think that it's sunny outside, we don't need to worry about it. And then when it's raining, they start to see the leaking in their roof and they're like, oh crap, we need to fix the roof. Let's get out there and fix it. And it's already too late. So the idea here is that you're gonna dig your well before you're thirsty. You're gonna fix your roof before it rains. And so the best time to be looking for a job is actually while you're gainfully employed in a good position, so that you keep your options open, making sure that you always have a lateral move that you can make at any time. So if your boss comes in and says, hey, we need to talk, we're going a different direction, we need to right size, downsize, your position's being eliminated, whatever, you can say, you know what, I've already got 3 or 4 hooks in the water, or I've already been working on my resume, I've already been diligently keeping my options open, talking to other headhunters, talking to other people in the industry to find out who's looking for new positions. And so the minute your job is in jeopardy and you feel like you're going to be laid off, you can immediately reach out to those contacts and you shorten that time frame of from when you're laid off to when you find the new job, because you've been working on it while you were working, while you were still employed gainfully, and while you still had a good income. You were building your savings so that you didn't have to stress there. You were building your resume, you were building your network and your contacts. So that's my tip, to make sure, even if you're gainfully employed today, make sure you're looking around in your industry, trying to find where you would go if you got laid off tomorrow. Think about that, because you could get laid off at any time. So if you were to get laid off tomorrow, what would you do? Start planning today so that you are prepared in case. If you never get laid off, that's wonderful. You don't have to worry about it. But if you do, you're already ready and you're prepared ahead of time. That is the power of saving and being proactive in your savings and being proactive in your financial life. I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you missed the last video I produced on budgeting, catch it here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel up here and check out this video up here that YouTube thinks you might like. Until the next video, have a fantastic day.